He will be sharing his latest speech, Reflections and Compassion, for our live studio audience. Come on up here, Chris. So, Chris, I understand this is your icebreaker, the first project in the Competent Communicator Manual.
Yes, it is, and I'm looking forward to giving it.
The buzz around Huntington Beach is that the goals of your speech are to begin speaking before an audience and to discover speaking skills that you already have and skills that might need some attention.
There's a few of those.
Chris, why don't you tell the audience a little on what your speech is about?
Tonight, I'm going to talk about something different about myself. A lot of you already know me, and I've given a few icebreakers here. And tonight, I'm going to just give you a little bit more of what is behind here.
And is there anything more about yourself you'd like to tell our viewers at home?
Today, I'm daring to dream. Before, I dreamed to dare. The difference is humongous.
We are really excited to hear your speech. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Chris Gregory.
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, do you remember when you were a child, how you would dream to dare? Do you remember when you used to think, I want to do this, I want to do that? Well, many of you have heard many different things from me through my past icebreakers, but tonight I want to tell you, I've come to become a whole different person over the last few months. And why? Because I've learned something about myself. Last year, Toastmasters changed their motto, and it said, where leaders are made. I didn't quite understand what that meant, and I said, that's kind of chintzy. Here I am being the timer or being the odd counter. What's that going to give me? And I never realized that the combination of doing all of these things was helping me become a different person. When I was young, I had a very challenged sister who was 2 years older than myself. She died when she was 21. I was 19. I felt that life just was not fair for her. And I kept looking at things and saying, what could I do to help make a difference for someone who's challenged? It hurt a lot. I could tell you stories how people shun people with disabilities. I can remember being on a provincial bus, and yes, I said provincial, I'm a Canadian, where my sister had grand mal and she fell down and had a severe seizure. She was dying right there in front of everybody. There was 40 people on that bus, most of them adults. What really hurt, that instead of somebody stepping up and trying to help her, they stood back. Was she contagious? Was she a freak? Something wrong? There was nobody there to help. I had to take my hand and put it inside her mouth and pull her tongue out so that she wouldn't choke to death. Finally, a nurse came up and helped me. I don't know where she was for the first 5 minutes, but she did come forward, and I thank her so deeply. For years later, I used to have this love-hate relationship with my sister because every time that she had a problem, she would hurt the one that she loved the most. And it was me. I can remember days when we went into a shopping center where she'd say, look at the freak with the one eye, and everybody would look at me and I wanted to disappear. I didn't want to be there. I hurt so deeply. And I hated her at that time. And yet I can remember just before she died, the only person who she wanted to be close to was me. She wanted to hold my hand. And she was my big sister. It's years and years I struggled with this as to finding out what is it that I could do to make a difference. A few months ago, something happened in my life. Wes Hoover, the district governor, asked me if I wanted to go to the Special Olympics and see if they could have a Toastmasters club. I went and I saw there was only 4 people in the office and we need a minimum of 20 people to create a club. But I had an advantage of sitting down and watching the Global Messengers, which are the athletes who go out and speak to the community to try and raise funds. And they struggled. They struggled with speaking. The global messengers are Special Olympics athletes whose IQ is less than 75. They are intellectually challenged, and every day they suffer people neglecting them or shunning them. But the Special Olympics is a program where they're able to get out and be someone different. And I thought to myself, we can do something with that. And that's when I got the idea of having a Gavel Club. The Gavel Club is something that people who have challenges and disabilities are able to learn to be Toastmasters, much like ourselves. Well, I went back and I started thinking about all the speeches I've done and how I can organize. And I say, you know, I did a lot of stuff with a competent communicator. I felt I could speak to them. But what I realized is the competent leadership manual. It had taught me how to lead. It gave me the confidence to be able to stand up in front of people and say, this is my dream. This is my vision. Please, I need to organize a team. And I asked some of the very, very best people I could that I thought would really help. The first thing I did is I asked the beautiful Robert Rohan if he would be my co-sponsor for the club. And he graciously said yes. And he touched the hearts of every single person in that organization. And then I came here. And I asked if any of you would help me sponsor this club so that they wouldn't have to pay any money. And we didn't raise $10 or $20, not even $100. We raised $165, which is already paid for their club dues. It's already paid for their lectern. We gave them actually our lectern and many other things. Well, this past weekend was a very special weekend because KTLA came to watch us and to videotape the entire meeting. And they interviewed myself and Gary Osterbach. And our Gary Osterbach is a member of the Schmedley Club, Toastmasters Schmedley Club, Club number 1. And I think it's kind of appropriate that this Gavel Club is in Santa Ana. And I know that Dr. Ralph Schmedley must be smiling for what he saw. But what I saw, when I saw the enthusiasm, and I saw what was going on there, the participation by every one of the global messengers that wanted to speak. We had prepared our speech to be, our meeting to be 1.5 hours. We asked if anyone would like to speak, and they said they had so many of them wanted to speak. We had 9 speakers. Every one of them wants to get ahead. Every one of them appreciates everything we had. Our district governor gave us some special pins, and it's a gavel pin. And I thought, oh, they'd like to get those, and I'd ham around. I took out the box, and I said, the district governor has got a pin for you. And I was surrounded by all of these people. The other thing that we did is we hosted one of the global messengers to come here and give a speech. Jenny Skinner, and all of you remember her. And we voted that night on the person who gave the very best speech for their level. And Jenny won Best Speaker of the Evening. Her mom drove me home because I'm still at a state where I'm not allowed to drive. My health is still a little bit hurting. But a very, very magical moment happened when we got home. Marilyn, her mom, drove up to my house. We stopped at the end of the driveway. I got out of the car. It was late at night. And as I started to go into my gate, Jenny got out of the car too. And I said, Jenny, is everything okay? And she said, I need to tell you something. And she came up to me, and she leaned forward, and she gave me a big hug. And she whispered 2 words into my ear. She said, thank you. I know Toastmasters has given me an incredible different outlook on life. When I was a kid, I dreamed to dare. Today, I'm daring to dream, and I want to see that program go worldwide. And I already have. Many clubs are asking for that to happen. So all of you, really take Toastmasters seriously, because you can and will make a difference.
Everyone, please take a moment to provide Chris some